and welcome back to another great episode of hashtag Screw the W2. And today I got another great guest that I was able to connect on through LinkedIn. It's actually through another one of Yona Weiss's LinkedIn challenges that I've networked with people from coast to coast and even across other countries. So with that, Camilla, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, John. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So now I know we talked a little bit off camera, you're obviously with 2023 starting up, got some more real estate syndications in the pipeline, but kind of if we can go back in time, what was your, previous W-2 job and what was like a, average or normal day?
Yeah, so my W-2 was working in HR for tech companies. So
Okay.
I worked with a lot of software developers and data scientists and really enjoyed that job. And a typical day there, there was a lot of meetings, right? So my calendar was full
Mhm.
from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Like
Oh,
I was in meetings all day, every day, and working with people and just working on um, helping to run the business and make sure we were building. I worked for companies that were building new tech divisions. They weren't necessarily tech companies, they were tech, but they
mhm.
needed a tech division. And so putting those places in and trying to make sure that they were compensating correctly, that we were hiring the right people. So it was a ton of hiring, lots of interviewing, things like that.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, my wife's background, undergrad, and even teaches now at the college in HR. So she shares a lot of the good, bad, and
Nice.
ugly of the world of HR.
I know. We got lots of fun stories
Oh
in
yeah,
HR.
fun. I don't think fun covers it from some she shared. So, with that being said, I know you said you helped with a lot of tech companies or companies that needed tech divisions, but was there a moment or maybe even series of moments of I got to get out of here. I got to do something different. Maybe it was the 11-hour straight of meetings. I don't know.
Yeah, so it was interesting because in HR, I'm heavily involved in salaries, right, and in determining how much people can make. And every year we go through merit increases and we talk about giving people bonuses. We talk about increasing their salaries. We talk about promotions, and it was just becoming readily apparent to me that for my own self, in order to increase the amount of money that I can make, it was just like it was going to take forever to get to so I had a six-figure income, but what if I wanted a multiple six-figure income, right? What if I wanted to go from 100,000 to 200,000?
Hmm.
Really, it would literally take me 15-20 years unless I got promotions, but then promotions were all subjective. Like it was just if some people liked you or not, then you could move up in the company. And so I got pretty dissatisfied with the ceiling that we
Okay.
were enforcing on people and then also enforcing on myself. And I was like, I can do a lot better. Like I want to be able, I want to have a job or work somehow where I don't have this income ceiling and all these restrictions placed on me.
Mhm.
And then I was also itching because I don't know if I'm a very good corporate employee, to be honest, because I have
Guilty.
so many ideas. I have all these ways I want to do things and all these, I want to try these new ideas and I was constantly being told, no, 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 no.
Yep.
You got to just do it the way we've always done it. Like
Yep.
this works. Just do this, just follow the task list. And so I just felt very unfulfilled in that W-2. And so those two things were kind of catalysts for me that I was like, this job is not going to make me a millionaire for sure.
Sure.
And I don't get to exercise my creative muscle like I really want to and have complete control of that. And then I guess the third one was time freedom. My children, I have five children. They were all getting to be teenagers, and I was just watching their childhood just slip away. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I have to do something now to make sure I can be there for all of their tennis tournaments, all of the theater performances. I mean, all the things that they're doing. I want to be involved in every aspect of their life before they leave me. And then I'm like home with just, myself, my husband, and the dog.
Right. All right. No, it makes sense. And yeah, empathize with that. I know a lot of other entrepreneurs, they've said the same thing. Kind of interesting. You mentioned where, you start at, let's just say 100,000 and maybe, you get a 3, 5, 6, 8, whatever percent raise a year. And
Yeah.
on paper, that looks good, even if you get it. But then when you factor in inflation and you fast forward 15 years, it's like, hey,
Mhm.
I'm at 200,000. Wait, purchasing power is basically like that 100,000 I had 15 years ago. So you're kind of right back where you
Exactly.
started.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, all right. So then, when you kind of had those realizations, wanting to, spend more time with your kids, have a little more time freedom, use your, creativity more. What were your maybe first and then next steps to get out of the rat race from the HR world?
So first step, I was just thinking about, okay, well, what kind of business could I start, and what can I do, and kind of looking for a side gig and something like that to really start bringing in some other income and finding a way to do that. And as I was brainstorming all this, like I realized that you know what, real estate is really what I'm good at, and I've
Mm,
been good at it for a long time. So why not just blow it up and scale it,
sure.
and so that's what I started doing and working on that on the side. um as that started to grow, it started to become unsustainable in ways that like I couldn't, the amount of time I was putting into both my W2 and building the
Mm,
business was too much. It was just too much. I mean, heck, I'm chasing time freedom, right? I wanted to be able to
yep.
attend all the things, and I made it worse for myself before it got better. and
Sure.
um and so doing that was, it was important for me to work through that. But then I also like I had a lot of anxiety about leaving my W2 because you have the steady paycheck, right? You have
Yeah.
it comes in, and our bank accounts were healthy, and they would just increase every month. And then I knew when I stepped out of that, suddenly I would have a very different experience with income. And that's been true for me.
Hmm.
And it has been a struggle with, like, because it messes with your mind, right? If your bank
Right.
account is like constantly going up, you're feeling good about it, but then you come out and you're an entrepreneur and your income is sporadic. So you
Yep.
get a really big paycheck one day, and
Yep.
then for months the it just goes down, 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 and then you're panicked. You're like, oh my gosh, I need another big paycheck.
Yeah.
And so it's a really interesting thing that happens. But I tried to make sure that we had at least a year of reserves, so that I could, if I exited my W2, that I could give it a go for a year, and if it didn't work, then I could go back and get a regular, another W2. And then also I wanted to make sure that I had proved the plan, so I wanted to replace at least 70% of my income before
Mm,
doing it. Now I realize that's very conservative. Most entrepreneurs are not like that, but it was what I needed to feel safe, to feel good
sure.
about exiting the job.
Yep. No, it makes sense. So, all right. And then from when you start, scaling up, getting into real estate, building up your business, how long did that take you? And then did you have like a freedom day, or do you remember your freedom day when you said, yep, here's my, resignation letter or whatever you did last
Yeah.
day of work?
Yeah. So it took me about 2 years before I
Okay.
felt ready to leave the W2 and just give it a go full time entrepreneurship. And then, yeah, Freedom Day was October 1st of 2021.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
I'm about a year and a half into my entrepreneur journey, like leaving that. Um, and it was awesome. It was awesome, but it was also jarring and hard
Hmm.
because, again, as a HR professional, your day is totally filled up, right?
Yeah.
And you feel needed and wanted. And then you become an entrepreneur and suddenly it's all white space. And you're like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to do today?
Right.
How do I what am I supposed to work on? And then you just do things that you think are good, but are they really good? And it's a completely different mindset, right? You have this employee
Hmm.
mindset where you get the task and just do the task, and now you got to switch to a CEO mindset where
Hmm.
you have to determine what the direction of the business is. So you have to have a vision, you have to have a plan, and then you have to figure out how to execute the plan. And you never know if you're doing it right, right? It's
Right.
always this like, is this the right thing? Am I headed in the right direction? Like, what direction could I go? Because there's so many directions that you can go. And so all of those things, came into play as I did it. But one of the things I did to help me with that is as I followed the book, The 12-Week Year.
Oh,
That was awesome. And it really helped me put a good plan in place. So as soon as I exited my W-2, I knew exactly what I'd be working on.
okay.
Because right, your W-2, you wake up, and you're like, what am I doing today? Oh, it's all
Yep.
planned out for you, right? CEO life, it's not planned out for you. You have to plan it.
Yeah, makes sense. So, and you said that was the 12-week year was the book?
Yeah, it's called the 12-Week Year.
Okay. I have to add that to my reading list, although I got 9 or 12 Kindle books at various
Of
stages
course.
right now. So Kindle Unlimited is my death. Now you had mentioned earlier, Camilla, with obviously, you have a steady paycheck, it's deposited every 2 weeks in your bank account. Obviously a bit of a shift going, to an entrepreneurial with the, ebb and flow, big paydays, small paydays, etc. Was there any other regrets or anything that you missed from your W-2 job as you've been your entrepreneurial journey for over a year now?
The one thing I miss is people, probably,
Mm,
is like, having work friends.
sure.
And so you have to like intentionally recreate that when you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're, like me, I work from home. I live out in remote nowhere, Texas. And so there's not a lot of people around. And so I do miss that camaraderie, that sense of team. So
Okay.
you have to kind of try and build it yourself. But I haven't been able to like do that really well yet, so I'm still working on it, but I have found like friends that I can call and talk to, and like I call them growth friends. So friends that I can grow with, who are interested in my growth and I'm interested
Mm,
in their growth, and we talk about how we're growing together. Those conversations are always very invigorating and exciting for me.
sure. No, makes sense. So, on the flip side, obviously, it's, I think for every entrepreneur, it's a little like, what am I getting myself into? And you leave that safe and secure paycheck. But on the flip side, as you've been on this entrepreneurial journey, what's been the best part of it?
Oh, for sure, the time freedom. I
Okay.
mean, I I will take all of the entrepreneur anxiety for this time freedom for sure.
Yeah.
Like, because I love just being able to drop things like Monday, for example. Monday it was Martin Luther King Day, so the kids are off school, but most organizations like my W-2, that would not have been a day off. That would have
Hmm.
been a day I would have had to work, right?
Right.
But then I'm like, nope, kids are off school. Let's go to Six Flags. So we went to Six Flags. It was the most amazing day ever. No lines. Like we could go on all the rides, and
Nice.
hardly anyone at the park. And I was like, yep, this is the life, right? This
Yeah.
is what I really wanted. This is what I needed, things like that. And and then I was able to take my teenagers on a mission trip and to go build a school in Paraguay for
Oh,
three
wow.
weeks. Something you can't do when you have a W-2, because you can't be gone
Exactly.
for 3 weeks at a time,
Yeah.
at W-2s. And so it's been amazing to have that time freedom so that I can really invest in my family right now, in their, teenage years before they're out of the house and gone.
Sure. No, makes sense. So cool. As obviously an entrepreneur, obviously having the time freedom, probably the best thing about your journey. But, for anyone out there listening, maybe they're, in your shoes, or, in your shoes like you were, say 2 years ago, maybe they're like, I really want to spend time with my kids. I want more time freedom. I want, XYZ. But for whatever reason, they just feel stuck. Maybe they like that, consistent paycheck, benefits, whatever. What, kind of advice would you, or words of encouragement would you give to them?
I think when you're stuck like that, I think you're so worried about the risks, right? So you're worried about the risk of being an entrepreneur, the risk of failing. And I
Mhm.
just want to say this, right? We see the statistic all the time that says 90% of entrepreneurs fail.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I think it's 100% of entrepreneurs fail, right? Failure is part of the process. It's part
Yeah.
of being an entrepreneur, and you just pick yourself up and go again and pivot and figure it out, right? That's what the beauty of entrepreneurship. So don't be afraid of failure because you're
Mm-hmm.
going to fail. Like
Yep.
just embrace it. Be like, yep, okay, it's going to come and it's going to suck. And okay, then we'll figure it out and we'll go from there. But I think that the risk of not trying it, not betting on yourself is way higher than any of the other risks that you're afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
And so flip that script, right? Like, what if I don't? What if I don't take a chance on myself right now? You're not guaranteed time. And none of us are guaranteed a long life. And
Yep.
I think the challenge is that we were conditioned to believe that the right path is you go to college, you get a job, you work for 60 years, and then you
Yep.
retire, and then you enjoy your life.
Exactly. If you make
And
it that far.
if you make it that far, how many people, I know a lot of people who retire and die within 2 or 3 years,
Yeah. Yep.
right? They don't get the opportunity to live all the dreams that they had throughout their adult years. And so they were just waiting and waiting and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just at a point right now. I'm like, yeah, I don't have time to wait.
Yep.
And it's riskier for me to wait for something rather than chasing after it and going for it now.
Mm-hmm. No, makes sense. Definitely agree with that. So, and well, so we're wrapping up the show. And again, I wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to educate and encourage my listeners. As a kind of final note for, as we're starting into 2023, what all are you working on, having the hopper? What are you most excited about here in the coming years, or excuse me, the coming year ahead?
Yeah, well, I'm excited about growth. So the business is growing well. I'm excited about continuing to grow the business, but then also starting to add in other streams of income. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't bank on one stream of income. I mean, I
Nope.
named my business Steady Stream Investments to get multiple steady streams of income coming in. But I'm excited because I get the opportunity to teach now too, and I have a financial system that I developed for my own children to teach them about how to manage money and how to have proper mindsets around money and how to invest and all those things. Like my kids can tell you the difference between an asset and a liability, and they joke that they're the only family that we talk about investing at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Like my friends don't know any of this. I'm like, yeah, I know that's okay.
Yeah.
But so I'm excited to teach other families about this as well, and so I'm developing like kind of I'm just going to start out small and just do and teach a couple of families at a time on how they can adopt these types of financial systems. And they're simple. They're not complicated. It's something that's very doable. I've done it with my 5 children and taught other families how to do it as well. So I'm excited to do that, to branch out and do that. And then I launched a podcast. Quiet Wealth is the name of it. So it's a podcast that is teaching people how to build wealth and how to really manage your money when you're at level 2. So it's not
Sure.
teaching you how to get out of debt or to like budgeting and stuff like that. It's teaching you, okay, what do you do when you're looking around saying, okay, I've got a good income, I've got good money. What do I do now? How do I
Yep.
really build wealth and take it to the
Mm-hmm.
next level? So it's all level 2, and that's what I'm teaching there at Quiet
Cool.
Wealth.
And then with all those resources, your links to your podcast, would that be at Stay Stream Investments or a different website or?
Yeah, you can find them at steadystreaminvestments.com.
Okay.
Or you can just look up Quiet Wealth on all the podcast, platforms, and follow there.
Sounds good. It's, all right. Well, I wanted to thank you again, Camilla, for coming on the show and wish you the best of 2023 as things move along here.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Appreciate you.